That's a very good question, and I've seen a lot of changes in the last 10 years and beyond, but my work as a journalist involved working for CNN.com, but this was a long time ago, it was more than 10 years ago, and I was there writing for CNN about the impact of technological change on our lives. So that, and then also I helped in a new venture. This was in the US we had a period in the late 90s up to about 2001 or 2002, dot-com era, they call it, and there was a dot-com bubble, everything grew, and then the dot-com bubble burst. And this was during this time, and I helped create something called Fathom, and I was working as an executive producer for video stories. These were not event-based, they were stories that were in-depth examinations of research that was going on in higher education in different areas. One story, for example, was about the work of a Nobel Prize winner named Horst Stormer, who was a physicist, and he had done work with new kinds of theories in physics. Another story was with a professor in medicine who had developed new kinds of three-dimensional imaging technologies and ways to use them in doing surgery. And so it's interesting because at that time I was doing some work, this was in about 1996, 97, I was doing some work with a professor, Peter Allen, of computer science at Columbia University, and he was pioneering work on 3D printing. This was about 96 or so. And now, of course, 3D printing is becoming very much, central in, many fields. For many purposes. And one of the things that I see happening is many of the technologies that were in the research laboratories, say 20 years ago, in the last 10 years have come out of the research laboratories and have become part of our normal lives and our professional work. And so one of the projects that I've been involved in for, again, about 20 years is in something that's called augmented reality. And augmented reality brings together several technologies. So it's a confluence of wearable technologies and wireless technologies and location-based technologies. And we use it as a new way both for news gathering. So we created something called a mobile journalist workstation. This was in 1999, and it would be this wearable system, and you'd go out and you'd gather the material, you do your reporting with the system, and you could work hands-free. But the bigger thing for us in many ways was the way you could use this system for storytelling. So we developed a new kind of documentary we call the situated documentary. And we tell stories in the place where they happened. And so then the audience, if you want to call it audience, or the public, they go to the place where that story happened, and with a wearable device, and these wearable devices are becoming quite common now, or it could still be on a handheld, they would be in the place as it is today, but they would be immersed. So it's a kind of immersive, interactive storytelling in the events of the past. So they could be recent past, or they could be distant past. And so now there's a lot of work happening with new kinds of storytelling, immersive storytelling. And one of the areas that I'm doing a lot of work now is how to bring in more interactive media, social media, because social media have only really existed for about 10 years. And Facebook and YouTube and all those things really have grown up over the last decade. So they're having a profound impact on journalism. But I think how we can use the social media in the storytelling is still something where there's a lot we can innovate.